Okay, this is how to use the inputs on the ultimate trend following strategy. We've already went over the style and property in 2 other videos, so we won't go over those again, but the inputs are what control the strategy settings. So we have the ability to backtest any date range with the start month, year, and day, and an end year, month, and day. We also have a time zone offset. You can find that on your chart over here, which you can change. I'm in California, so mine's on UTC -7. So I would adjust that to be the same if I wanted to have this match the chart I'm looking at, but yours may be different. I'm going to have this set right now just 2015, and the end year I just have some distant date in the future, so this will continue to work for me. You can set it to any date you want. This will definitely make sure we record anything in the future if we have it set to 3000. Now, there's 4 different strategies we can use here. They're all controlled by the trigger indicator. And we have the whole moving average, we have standard rate of change, we have Connor's RSI, and market regime cross. The whole moving average, standard rate of change, and market regime cross are more of trend following strategies. Connor's RSI can even be trend following, but it can also be used as a mean reversion strategy. I won't go into each of these for now. You can research these on their own to see how they work. But for the sake of how to use a strategy, I'll use the whole MA for now. And you can see that we just had trades start to appear on the chart. I like to always adjust the thickness of everything. So I'm going to do that by going to the Style tab over here. Make this a nice red, and there we go. We have now a nice visible whole moving average in the back. Now going back to the inputs, we can change the length. Right now I'm on a 12-hour chart. You can change any time frame you want back here. But the length of the look back period, how many candles it'll look back, you can adjust through here. So the longer setting you use, the longer the trend that you're in, and vice versa with the smaller settings. So for the sake of settings, I'll do something like maybe a 35 for now. If you're just using the whole MA, you would just control that by here. You would not use any of the standard rate of change settings, the Connor RSI settings. You would not use any of these since you're just doing the whole MA. Now, if I was using standard rate of change and I would not now use this, I would use a standard rate of change down here, and I could change this to any value, and I would have charts, trades rather, appear on the screen based on the settings I use. Same thing with Connor's RSI. I would now use these settings over here instead of these 2. And for market regime, we'll get to that later, how to use that. But market regime would be used off these market regime settings down here. So again, for now, I'll just use whole moving average. We have a period of 35. We're going to skip the other settings for the other triggers. And you can use market regime to filter out your whole MA, your standard rate of change, your Connor's RSI. And I'll have an extra video on how to use the market regimes very efficiently to find bull markets, bear markets, or sideways markets. But for now, we'll just skip over this. So we have whole MA on a 35 look back period. And on the entries, you can control if you want to skip candles of entries. So if your whole MA, let's say, enters here on a long, and you wanted to skip that, for example, you could skip over 1 candle. And it's good sometimes because you'll get areas like this where you whipsaw, and if you delay entry, you can get rid of a lot of those whipsaw areas. So that's a way you can use it too, if you like. Reenter the trade, you would use that if you were in a trade and let's say you had a stop loss or a take profit that got hit, which we'll go into later. You can still stay in the trade. So if we wanted to stay in this green trade, but we got stopped out over here, we could re-enter over here with re-enter candles. And you just have to select re-enter trade to do that. And then depending on how many candles you choose would be how many candles you enter after. Now, directional trades, if you want to do longs only, you can do that. We only take longs, so we take longs here. Anytime it turns to the next different type of trend regime where we normally shorting, we'll close our long. We can do the same thing with shorts. So now we're entering shorts and we can close when they would enter long. If you just want to enter both, you can go short, long, short, long, short, long. So you can experiment with that and test that. Here we have our stop losses. We have 3 different ways to have stop losses. You can do a stop loss from your entry. You can do it from your previous high or low of the candle or the previous trend high or low. So if we want to show the stop loss on the chart, we would click on show stop level. Now you'll see this came up. This is our stop loss charted. I like to actually change that. That's controlled by this plot right here, which is the second one from the bottom. I make it thicker and I change the color. And now you can see it pretty visibly. So we put a stop loss 3% under this entry. You can also do pips or ticks if you're trading stocks or Forex market. So we have that for 3% under entry. You can do previous high low, so adjust it over there. Or if you want to do previous trend, that will look at the, so here was the entry, this trend low on the red was here. So that's where our stop loss is at now. So very powerful ways to adjust your stop level. You could also use your Connor's RSI initial stop, and those settings can be changed through here. If you want to use an average true range stop loss instead of a percentage stop or pips or ticks, you can certainly do that, and you could adjust that through here, and that will dynamically change on the chart also. You also have the ability to move your stop loss to break even after your trade becomes profitable. You can click on that to do that, and this will do that. You can also add a trailing stop. So let's say I have a trailing stop and I want to change it by a certain amount of percent. I can definitely do that. You can see that it's now trailing over here. I can adjust that any way that I like. You can also adjust that by ticks or pips. You also have the option to use an average true range trailing stop. So you can see how that is now on the chart also. You can experiment with that. Then we have our take profit settings. If you want to, if you're in a trade and you want to say exit on, if it touches the Bollinger Band or Keltner channel, you can do that. You can adjust those settings here. So you have to check take profit and then use take profit indicator to allow you to use Bollinger Band or Keltner channel. So you can use those and experiment with the settings. You can adjust any length or any multiplier of that. The source for the indicator, you can experiment with any of these: open, low, high, low, close 3, or open, high, low, close 4, or just straight close. You can change the indicator basis from the simple moving average to exponential moving average, or you can even use a whole moving average. And you can experiment with those to see which gives you the best settings for your strategy. Now we also have use percentage from entry. So say I enter here and I just want to exit maybe when my trade gets 10% into profit. I can do that. So now we have a long exit over here. If I want to see what 20% profit looks like, you can do that. And you can also do pips or ticks. To use any take profit setting, whether it's the take profit indicator, you have to have use take profit selected. So if you want to use percentage from entry, you need to have both of these. If you want to have use take profit indicator, you need to have both of these. You also have average true range take profit. So same concept as use percentage from entry, but we're using the average true range. So you can see what that looks like. Experiment with that. Same deal if you want to use that. You also have to have use take profit selected. And you also have Connor's RSI, take profit, you can use also. And you can use this in conjunction with any of these. You can use them by themselves, or you can use all of them together if you wanted to. What happened is the first condition that triggers an exit, you'll just exit there. So if all of these are used together, but you could use them by themselves or all together and see which ones work best. And then you have the long and short entry filters, and you have 2 of each. So you have 2 for longs and 2 for shorts. But that way you can use a shorter time frame, maybe on the first long entry filter, and on the long entry filter or short entry filter too, you can use higher time frames. But you can filter those out by RSI or stochastics. So you would click that, and let's say you want to use RSI, you can start filtering out your trades with different settings. If you want to use stochastics, you can do that, or you can use them together and see which settings give you the best backtest results. You can also use an EMA. So if you want to only take trades that are below or above a certain EMA, you can certainly do that and see what gives you the best settings. And like I said, you can use any or all of these by themselves or all together. Same thing for long entry too. It's just maybe you could use higher settings than you have on here and test, and you can use them together. You could use a long entry filter 1 and long entry filter 2 and have all the settings together if you like, and experiment with those and see what gives you the best return in your backtest results. And we have over here the short entry filters, same exact thing as long entry filters, but just controls the shorts only. And then you have long exit filter and short exit filter. So if you're in a trade and you don't want to exit, say below certain RSI, you can have that on, and you can experiment with what will give you the best results. So this will control your exits in the trade depending on what you have selected. So you have 1 for long and then 1 for the shorts. And that is it. You can use any and all of these settings, the short exit filters, the entry filters, the take profits, the stop losses. You can use them all by themselves or with each other. And then back to the market regime, this is probably one of the most important parts of this strategy is you can actually filter your longs and shorts. Bull markets are usually characterized by any number above 0.6. Bear markets are usually characterized by any number under negative 0.6. And then you can have this in between. Anything in between is usually a sideways market that's in between here. So if you're looking for just to catch sideways markets, you could have it set up like this for your market regime. This is your look back period for it. If you only want to catch bull markets, you can set this to a 0.6 and have this up to a 10. And that will look for trades only that are in confirmed bull status. If you're looking for a bear market, you can turn that to a -6 for your max, and then have this set to a -10 down here, and that will get you your bear market trades. Or you can have just really extreme settings, and let's say you want to filter out anything that's sideways, you can do that also by setting your bull and bear markets, and you exclude above and below. And you can see that had a nice effect on the strategy. But these are adjustable to the 100%. You can adjust these and see what gives you the best results. You have 2 market regime filters, one here and then one here. You can use different settings. Right now we have a 100 look back period. You can have this one, let's say, a much faster setting, and mess with those settings. And then the MA cross as the market regime filter will allow you that any trades you have that are filtered out by this, you can see on the right side of it by using your moving average cross. So you can adjust these settings and see what gives you the best entry. And this is more advanced, so I'll have a separate video just on market regime on how to use it and have it visualized on the chart. But this is just a basic overview of how to use it all. You can use it with any trigger indicator. And if you use the market regime cross, you can trade based on this by itself with your stop losses, take profits, or any other settings in here. I know that's a lot that we went over. If you have any questions, definitely leave a comment below. I'd be happy to answer that for you. It's a lot to cover in one video, but I'll have other videos on more of the specifics. But feel free to leave a question if you have any. Thank you.